I think that's so funny. It's like, we can't make this happen on our own, and the files that we're getting already have it in action. So, like, we don't know how they made the baby. Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing very well. I'm AJ, and I am going to go over the news for March 17th, which is the next big update for both the base game as well as other packs. Now, this update is going to be going over a lot of things, like particularly autonomy issues, which is a huge thing that we've been asking for quite a while in the Sims 4 community. It is also going to be discussing a couple of the other things that they wanted to do with the categorizing, and I don't know what is going on with my camera. My video capture device is having some problems. I don't know if that's showing up in the video or not. That was very weird. I don't know if I've got a ghost or not. I hope I don't. Anyway, okay, so all the they've updated even more of the tagging and like categorization for cast and build by. That's the other thing that they've done. And then finally, they discuss more of the updates on some of the other top voted community issues, like the blank bug for pictures and like the textures going on with that. So I don't want to read through all of this, but I am going to go over some of the big ones and something that I'm a little frustrated about, two things actually that I'm frustrated about, and the very first frustration comes right here, okay? So console players, you are once again getting this update later at an unspecified time than PC players. I'm so sorry, PC and Mac, but like, I don't know why they're doing this to you, and they're also going to be dropping. During this time, console players may experience a temporary version mismatch when using the gallery. Like, you're getting double bombed with this. It sucks. Anyway, I don't know what to do about it, but I will tell you that I think that probably the best thing to do if you do get that temporary version mismatch for the gallery is I would actually recommend, if you are then able to get onto the gallery after that or kind of during that time, I would actually like save any builds from the gallery to something else, or like to a different save, because there's also apparently an issue still that they have addressed, but is still happening with lots going missing. So I don't know, just be very careful. Okay, console players, I know you guys are. You have to be safer and smarter out there, but, just extra careful, okay? So, here's the big stuff that's going on. So, extensive updates to ensure Sims eye blinking will now show fully closed eyes. Prom will once again appear on calendars, so that way you can go to it, which is going to be fantastic. I already feel like prom has so many issues, but this is at least one that's better. We have now fixed an issue where horse and pet data was being lost in pre-made households. They were literally just going off to the void. I don't know where they went. Poor pets. Anyway, that's been fixed now. And then they've also implemented a new socializing autonomy change as well that's really big, which means that your Sims are just not going to be talking to strangers as much as less. They're going to be probably talking to friends and family, people that they already have a higher social bar with, which is really nice. Because I will say, though, the one thing is that I did like to be able to walk away, make my coffee, maybe go to the bathroom, and then come back and have like 5 new friends for my Sim. But it's not that it won't happen, it's just not going to be as likely to happen. So this whole update is really based around Sims autonomy and the updates that they wanted to provide for it, like excessively flirting, excessively using computers and phones, trolling to forums all the time. They all became Redditors. They've all become Redditors, haven't they? They just have. So there's different cooldowns, and theirs is a really long list. It's not just for the base game, it's also for packs as well. You can look at this. I will put the link down below for you, but all of this is basically, there's not going to be as much just happening on repeat on a cycle. You're going to be able to change your preferences and add likes and dislikes for computers and mobile phones, which will determine some of the increase or decrease in how much your Sim uses things. However, a normal Sim without certain traits are going to just have a 6-hour cooldown on wanting to do any of those actions autonomously, which, again, really nice. I do think it could have been a day, but it's okay. Anyway, if any of these, like getaways, small clubs, if your house Sim is a geek, anything like that, they will still want to use the computer autonomously and will use it more often, but otherwise they're not going to want to. This is my favorite. Well, not quite my favorite, it's my second favorite. The Troll the Forum's computer interaction has been added to the same cooldown that is used for other computer interactions. Now, you also need to have a mischief level of 6 or higher for them to even want to do the autonomous action, or they have to be like hot-headed, evil, childish, things like that. So, it's very good. Destroying the Dollhouse, another one that I was having a lot of problems with, especially recently. This one just says for some time. We don't know how long for some time means. We don't know how long that means, which really frustrates me later. Autonomously mixing drinks, they won't do that as much, especially the ones that were inspired or like a bro or foodie. If Sims autonomously swim, then they'll receive a cooldown for that, unless they are a mermaid or plant sim, unless they're on like pool lots and stuff like that, or it's a birthday party. Violin and guitar, they have a sim day before they want to autonomously do that again. Chess also is a sim day. There's like no traits that go with this that would enhance them playing Sims or playing chess more. But I do think that's interesting because like a lot of other ones, like this dancing one, because dancing was the one that kept crashing my game. If you saw my autonomy bug video, it's up and I'll link it over there. I don't know. I'll link it up here. And anyway, it was crashing my game. They would just autonomously want to dance, and the same interaction would just autonomously queue over and over again, like upon hundreds of times, okay? And then it was just, they just wanted to dance. And so now that's not going to happen anymore. That should resolve the crashing for me on that portion. So that's really nice. And then reducing turning on the radio, another big one, because like, dude, I would turn it off and they would turn it back on, and then they couldn't sleep. Like, I'm very happy that that's off. And then the push-ups, sit-ups, and stretches. This is another big one that people have always complained about. Why is my sim exercising out of nowhere? There are some people who do. And that's fine. I do feel like it shouldn't be just the ones who are energized at a gym venue. I do feel like bros and like a couple other ones, like the active trait, okay, then they'll do it autonomously. But I feel like there could have been some other stuff, but it's fine. Anyway, foodie sims have a cooldown now for watching culinary training videos on the television. It's a 2-day cooldown. And then finally, this one is the one that's most important to me because I fucking hate those lumps of clay. I'm so sick of them. But this is where it frustrates me because this one, we don't have any time frame. Again, for a while. Tell me how much a while is, please, Sims team, so I can know how long I have to throw away that stupid ball of clay. Anyway, so then there's a lot of other ones for a lot of the other packs, Discover University, just, there's a bunch of them, okay? Also, apparently, like, Sims with the unflirty trait will no longer get the ick when hugged. Placing a painting on the wall and then returning it to the Sims inventory will no longer result in a simulation error, which is very nice. I'm not exactly sure why that was happening, but it is very nice. So this is the updates that you really need to know for tomorrow's update, or today's if you're watching this here on March 17th. Remember that a lot of the cast and build by mode tagging updates will be also available, so things should be a little bit more organized and easier to find, which is very nice. And then finally, just going into some of the updates from the top community voted issues, which we have been doing a lot of these things, or they have been working on a lot of these things for quite a while at this point, and it looks like we do have some updates. Nothing really that huge, this one kind of, we've been investigating adding extra safeguards in the game to check against inappropriate sibling relationships with spouses or fiancés, which I think is very funny. Despite a heavy focus to reproduce the idea or reproduce the issue, we're still struggling to reproduce this naturally through gameplay, and the saves we've received have the issue already occurring in code. I think that's so funny. It's like, we can't make this happen on our own, and the files that we're getting already have it in action, so we don't know how they made the baby. We know that there was a before, and we know that there was an after, but we don't know what process took place on the in-between. Very funny. So, But anyway, they are working hard to fix all these issues. They're still focused on the black pictures, like issue, which they've been working on for a while. I think we've had 2 official updates now, January and February, both provided updates with it, but it's still not fixed. Still not fixed. It's still a textures issue. So we've got a lot of stuff. We've got a lot of stuff that they're working on. They are paying close attention to, and I do think that it's going to be really good. And then this one, a situation where build mode items can become unplaceable, new objects disappear immediately, and existing objects cannot be moved or deleted. We believe we have a fix, but it still needs to be needs testing to verify, so stay tuned. I would love to test this because I run into this bug all the time, and I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. But I don't know how to reproduce it. I just know that sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's like after I hit manage worlds and then go in, sometimes I have the problem then, or trash and like dishes are a big issue for not being able to delete them, or sometimes, I don't know, it's like I've had something on a surface and then I've been able to remove whatever that object was, but then when I've placed it down elsewhere, it'll just stay in midair, and then I'm not able to click on it again. I've had that happen to, like, sinks and, like, clutter and some other stuff like that. So, that's another big one. Anyway, I think those are the most important of these updates. If there are other updates that you are most excited about, please let me know down in the comments. I would really appreciate to know all your thoughts on this. Have you been having a lot of autonomy issues? Have you experienced the same game-breaking crashing bug that I experienced? Are you excited that your Sims will no longer be playing on the fucking computer every 2 minutes? I know I sure am. But let me know your thoughts down below, and until the next update, until the next update for those of you who follow for the news and for the updates like this video, or otherwise until the update comes out tomorrow. Or again today if you're watching this on the 17th, where I will be helping as much as I can to make sure games are running smoothly and to help with any fixes that I possibly can. Otherwise, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, hit that like button. If you'd like to hear more in the future, if you want to stick around for any of my live update fixes or anything like that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really does help me out a lot, and I really do appreciate it, and I know that it helps you guys stay up to date as well. And I also try to not do it with the drama. I just try to kind of give you the updates for the bug fixes and that stuff. The important stuff to how you play your game. But anyway, you guys have a great rest of your day. I am AJ, and I am out.